Hello and welcome to KGW News at 5 o'clock. I'm Laurel Porter. Detectives are still gathering details tonight after a security guard shot and killed a man in the parking lot of a Portland Lowe's store at Delta Park. It happened Saturday evening. Today, police identified the man who was killed. Pat Doris reports.
This is 49-year-old Freddie Nelson. He died around 6:45 Saturday evening, shot dead by an armed security guard who was patrolling the area. It happened in the parking lot of the Lowe's store at Delta Park. The location has had its share of challenges. Part of the parking lot includes one of the only 2 bottle return centers left open in the Portland area. A year ago, Willamette Week reported the landlord had hired armed security guards to deal with drug use and other problems caused by the people gathering to return bottles. Organizers of the bottle return told the paper the guards were acting aggressively. It's unclear whether the weekend shooting had anything to do with the bottle returns. Police say the security guard stayed at the scene and talked with detectives.
The big question, which may take months to answer, is what exactly led up to the shooting back there? What was it that made the security guard feel that he was out of options, that pulling his gun and firing it was the only way to resolve the situation? And was he, in fact, out of options, or was there another way?
Lowe's declined to answer any questions and would not say if their video surveillance cameras captured the shooting. Under Oregon law, private security guards fall under the same use of force laws as any citizen, which brings us to ORS 161.209, which basically reads, a person is justified in using physical force upon another person for self-defense or to defend a third person from what that person reasonably believes to be the use or imminent use of unlawful physical force, and the person may use a degree of force which the person reasonably believes to be necessary for the purpose. One other part of the law deals with deadly force. ORS 161.219 reads, a person is not justified in using deadly physical force upon another person unless that person reasonably believes the other person is committing or attempting to commit a felony involving the use or threatened imminent use of physical force against a person, or committing or attempting to commit a burglary in a dwelling, or using or about to use unlawful deadly physical force against a person. A grand jury will likely decide whether the shooting by the guard was justified or not. In Northeast Portland, Pat Doris, KGW News.
Let's shift gears now to weather. We've reached the hottest day of the year so far. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino is here. And Matt, we're getting close to record temperatures. You have some updated numbers for us?
Yeah, we have actually reached record temperatures. We haven't hit 100, so we got that going for us. But we have hit 95, obviously our warmest day of the year. And that is now a new record for the date, breaking the old record by 1 degree. 95, popular number. Vancouver hit 95, Hillsborough 95, Aurora the same, but McMinnville 96. Same at Scappoose. We had a 97 in Hood River, so it is just hot all over the place. But if you really like it hot, the Dalles 103, so triple digits there, triple digits in the Rogue Valley. Those are the 2 hot spots in the state. But even the coast, not exactly hot, but it's warm for the coast. Astoria made it up to 80, and Tillamook 79 degrees. So it's just cooking out there. So you know what? It wasn't actually our only record temperature of the day either. We did hit 95 just now, breaking the old record by 1. We may slip up to 96, but we're there. We also had a record early this morning because we only dropped down to 61. That sets a new record warm overnight low temperature, breaking the old record of 60 that was set 15 years ago. And we're going to do that again tomorrow morning because the record warm overnight temperature for tomorrow is also 60, and we'll be even warmer tonight and overnight and tomorrow morning than we were last night, so only dropped to about 64. So that means we will break and set new record temperatures, 3 of them, within 24 hours, or about 24 hours here in Portland, with the record warm morning low, record afternoon high, and another record warm morning low. We'll get up to 91 tomorrow, so we'll still be in the 90s, but not as hot as today. And our temperature will be lower, and the records are higher. So we won't have another afternoon record high tomorrow, nor will we going forward because it cools into the 80s on Thursday and 70s by Friday. So back to more pleasant late spring, early summer weather at the end of the week. But yeah, it is cooking out there, Laurel.
I'm really glad we put our window air conditioner in, even if it's only for a couple of days.
Did Mike do the swamp cooler thing with the cooler and the ice and the fan?
Not yet. We haven't resorted to that yet.
You gotta do a video on that and share it with us.
All right, next time we get into the 90s for a while. Thank you, Matt.
You bet.
The search for a missing teenager along Washington's southern coast has been suspended. The U.S. Coast Guard spent 8 hours Monday searching the ocean for a 14-year-old boy near Long Beach. It was the second rescue attempt over the weekend. Near Rockaway Beach in Oregon, crews pulled out a 37-year-old man who later died after getting swept away.
On behalf of the Coast Guard, we want to remind many citizens that although the beaches are a very fun destination for recreation, that we want everyone to be aware of their surroundings. We want them to make sure that they have life jackets at all time, that they're not swimming alone.
Coast Guard officials say despite the warm weather, ocean temperatures are only in the 50s. The hot weather has more people heading to the water too, and local first responders have an important reminder about water safety. Lifeguards from AMR had to help out 3 people in distress at High Rocks Park in Gladstone. They're all okay, but crews say they see things like this every day during the summer when they're trying to keep people safe in the Clackamas River.
There's a lot of people out here. There's a lot of people drinking alcohol. Alcohol and swimming is never a good combo. It impairs your judgment, and that can impair your swimming ability in the water. So don't mix alcohol and swimming.
Their other big advice, wear a life jacket on the water and make sure it fits properly. Even with these hot temperatures, the rivers are also still cold from the recent snowmelt, so do be careful. The Oregon Convention Center vaccine site is now offering the Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine, and you don't need an appointment. The OCC site has stopped giving out first doses of the Pfizer vaccine since it's closing in a few weeks. You can still get second doses of the Pfizer vaccine until June 19th, whether or not you got your first dose at the OCC site. The convention center is open tomorrow from noon until 7 o'clock. When it comes to local vaccination rates, the numbers really don't tell the full story of challenges ahead. Multnomah County has one of the highest rates. 68% of eligible people have gotten at least one COVID shot. But the county is more focused on the number of people who are fully vaccinated, and that number is lower at 57%. The county is now working to reach more hesitant groups.
There are communities with low levels of trust for government and for healthcare, where we really have to take our time to build those relationships and to give information in a way that people can hear it and take it in.
Multnomah County is working with community groups and faith leaders to do this. Other counties in southern and eastern Oregon have further to go, with less than half their populations vaccinated.
Never done one thing wrong, and how could this happen, you know? And,
so it's pretty bad.
It's heartbreaking.
Now, this story rips your heart out. A Washington infant is fighting for her life after getting an extremely rare infection in her blood. Charlotte Johnson will lose all 4 limbs. Morgan Romero talked to her family and shares their warning.
Sweet Charlotte Rose
She'll be 2 next month.
loves coloring and shoes.
She's a little shoeaholic.
A funny, energetic, smart, rambunctious baby girl.
She's a hoot, you know.
She's the apple of all our eyes.
She is.
Now, add fighter to that list.
It feels a little like a horror story, you know, or a nightmare that you can't wake up from.
2 days after a trip to California to see family and visit her cousins, Charlotte came down with a rare disease.
And it came on very, very quickly. You know, we didn't see it coming at all.
Her grandmothers remember the fever hitting first, followed by a rash and bleeding into her skin. She was rushed to Dornbecker. Doctors diagnosed her as having meningococcemia, or meningococcal septicemia. It's a severe type of blood poisoning caused by bacteria.
It creates small blood clots in the blood vessels, which creates the blood to stop being able to flow.
According to the CDC, about half of cases are deadly if they go untreated. Charlotte's kidneys are failing, so she's now on dialysis. She's also on a respirator because of pneumonia.
She almost didn't make it the first night. Every day it's an up and down, how she did last night, how she doing this morning. You know, things are changing all the time.
All 4 of her limbs will be amputated because the bacteria has cut off the blood supply.
And it's going to be so hard. I know she's going to want to put her shoes on and she's not going to understand. You know, I mean, she's going to, of course, grow accustomed to this, but at first it's going to be really hard not being able to crayons.
Babies and young kids are at highest risk for meningococcemia. It spreads through fluid from a carrier's nose and throat. The family doesn't know how or where Charlotte was exposed.
This little girl is healthy and this still hit her.
2 kinds of vaccines protect against many meningococcal diseases, but not all. Healthy babies in the U.S. generally don't get them.
We need the word to get out that they're this can happen to your
that,
baby.
You know, if they can get a COVID vaccine in a year, they can
Yes.
figure out how to give this vaccine to babies.
Charlotte is expected to be in the hospital for months. When she gets out, she'll need constant care.
We are heartbroken every second of the day. And then we have our kids, of course, that
It's difficult.
so
It's
hard
really
to see that with them too.
The family tries to find hope in the smallest of improvements, believing in their little fighter.
But we're going to power through.
Yep.
We are going to power
We
through.
have our moments and then we get back to the positive and the prayers. I'm sorry, but
The grandmas told me their whole family had to take antibiotics, and the little kids that Charlotte was around in California got vaccinated. They're raising money to pay for medical bills. If you want to help the family, we'll have information for you on our website in just a little bit.